Hi, everybody, and welcome to podcast episode number 386.
And today we're going to talk about two topics: gas prices. Have you seen how much more it's going to cost you to go RVing this summer? And we're also going to talk about another important thing about when you are RVing, that is connecting to the internet. We're going to tell you about the solution that we have found coming up on podcast episode 386. Hello everybody, I'm Mike Wendland. This is my lifelong traveling companion and my bride, Jennifer. Hi, my dear.
Hello, Michael.
We are coming to you from
Linden, Tennessee.
This is our property that we are developing into kind of like our own private RV retreat. And it's kind of fun. We're just spent a couple of days here and we're doing nothing, just chilling out.
And enjoying it, listening to the wind blowing through the trees and just being still.
I got to tell you about the weather, though. 75 degrees. We have seen daffodils blooming, a flowering shrub. The grass is starting to green up. There's a little pollen in the air because the trees are budding. Mm-hmm. Can we tell them I think spring is really almost here?
Spring is almost here.
Yeah, it sure feels like summer almost.
Like.
Yeah. So this is fun because we're just kind of hanging out here, no real work projects, except I was curious to download the photographs from our trail cam that I left. Last time we were here was 3 weeks ago. And so I pulled them out and I just had a great time going through.
Looking at the deer that have been here. You were hoping to see some coyote.
Well,
but,
yeah,
so far, deer.
I'm just soon have the coyotes stay away, but if they were on our property, I did want to see them, but we didn't see any, so that's good news. We did see a herd of deer that seems to be coming through every day in the middle of the night, and that's kind of fun.
So the big question is, were there any bucks?
Well, it's hard to tell because their horns don't show up real good, but I didn't see any bucks. They all look like does, but they're pretty good-sized deer. Mm-hmm. So we'll put them, for those who are watching the video version of the podcast on our RV Lifestyle YouTube channel, we'll put them there. But it's nice to be on our property. Usually we're here when the folks are doing a big sale. By the way, their next sale here, if you are curious about getting property, is March 19th, I believe it is.
I think it is. I'm not 100%,
yeah,
but I think
19th,
that's what it is.
And they have developed, this is part of a 3,600 acre development. And in November, we bought 5 acres. You can see we got our driveway and one of our pads, our parking pads there. We're going to put a couple more on the ends. We've got water now. We can take a shower. We've got sewer hookup so we can empty the tanks. And electricity is coming. They've cleared the right-of-way along the roads, and that should be here any week now. And we're pretty excited about that. And then we'll be ready to go. We're going to put some concrete down, do you think?
We perhaps will.
Yeah. Hey, we wanted to talk to you about something that is, probably the industry doesn't want me saying this, but we don't work for the industry. We work for you guys. And that is how much more it's going to cost you to go RVing this year. It's amazing. Gas prices. We've been in 4 states now, and the cheapest mid-grade gasoline is about $4, almost $4 a gallon. Some places more. But if you have diesel, we're pushing $5. The cheapest diesel we saw was $4.68. And the highest was $5.05. And we're told that those prices are going to continue to go up, way up over the next few months. Now, part of it from Ukraine, but, you've heard all the arguments. I don't want to get into the politics, and we're going to delete any comments about politics, but the reality is it is really going to cost a lot of money. Some of you with those big diesel pushes, you're going to be paying $500 to fill those things up. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, it's unreal how much they've gone up. Add to that the problem of finding a campground reservation. It's getting harder and harder now. What is going to be very interesting to see now is with these high prices, whether people are going to say, "No way, I'm not going to spend $1,000 on fuel just to go on a short RV trip," and short being 600-800 miles. $500 for 600 miles is what it's going to cost them in some cases. So is that going to have an effect? Are people going to cancel their travel plans? I don't know.
I don't know, maybe they'll stay closer to home, and if your kids are young enough or you're creative enough, you can camp in your own yard, make a bonfire and make some s'mores and cook out your food, and it's all attitude.
And camping closer to home is another trend I think we'll see.
Yeah.
This trend, buying your own land, is, I know that this is going to continue. We first started talking and reporting on it back last spring, about a year ago. And little did we know that we'd ended up buying 5 acres here. And what do you want to do?
I'd like to get some property in Michigan.
Similar like this.
I really have a heart's desire to do that so that we don't have to go so far.
Yep.
Find a spot and then explore, enjoy the area.
Yep. We have really enjoyed this area. We came in and just did a little, got the pictures out of the camera. Should we tell them about our visitors?
Our visitors?
Ticks.
Oh, yeah, ticks.
Yeah, it's warm weather. The ticks. See, there's a fly actually on my camera lens. Let me get him out of here. For those of you watching YouTube, get out of there, fly.
Yeah, so far you're winning the ticks battle. Bo had one on him that
And
I could
had
see.
2.
You had 2.
But Bo and I were out tromping around in the woods, and
I'm doing my best not to tromp around.
yeah, so
Well, I remember being out east in Massachusetts, and we were just walking on the sidewalk, and ticks were jumping on us.
yeah, that's another problem all
What are you gonna
over
do?
the place,
What
all
are you
over the
gonna do?
country. Yeah, so we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the internet in just a moment and the system that we use. And then we've got your RV lifestyle questions and answers. So stay with us as the RV podcast continues.
When we're asked what's the most important modification we made to our RV, it's an easy answer. Battle-Born batteries. Battle-Born batteries are quality, safe, reliable lithium batteries that allow us to stay out there off the grid longer. Lithium batteries charge faster, they charge fuller, they're longer lasting, they're maintenance free, and Battle-Born batteries are protected by a 10-year guarantee. Now, in our case, they just dropped into the existing AGM batteries that we have, and they'll probably be the same on your rig too. Battle-Born battery experts can get those in your rig just like they did with ours. They can also match you up with the right cabling, the inverter, the charger, the solar controller, everything. Jennifer and I swear by our Battle-Born batteries. They allow us to boondock off the grid. Check them out. Go to rvlifestyle.com/lithium. rvlifestyle.com/lithium. When we're on a road trip, we always seem to find a way to stop at a Camping World center. There are over 225 Camping World locations across the country, and there's always one close by when we need parts and accessories for our RV or just want to shop. In fact, we have so much fun with Camping World, and as we talk about it as one of our sponsors, they have agreed to offer a 10% discount if you use the coupon code RVLifestyle10 when you buy $99 or more in merchandise. You'll find everything you want from outdoor furniture and appliances, the ones you see us use in our videos and that we talk about here in the podcast. RV extras that include everything from camping chairs to fire pits, electrical accessories, must-have gadgets. Check them all out. And again, don't forget, use the coupon code RVLifestyle10 when you visit campingworld.com.
Welcome back, and what we're going to talk about this week is good connectivity. You know how important it is, how we've become so dependent upon the internet. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, particularly, those of you who are working remotely, that's a trend that's going to continue. I think, of all the questions that we get every week, and we get dozens and dozens of them, always there's several of them about the internet. And people particularly say, well, what system are you using? And while we haven't shied away from it, we haven't really endorsed anything, but enough of you have asked that we thought we'd answer that in this episode of the podcast. In fact, we're going to answer it by just sharing what we have in our experience. And I'm not promoting that. I'm not connected with the company we're going to mention here. We don't even have an affiliate relationship with them. This is just a company, and we paid top dollar for everything. So the company that we use is called internetonthego.net. And we've had it now for 8 months in our Wonder leisure travel vans. It consists of a very expensive router. It's from PepWave, and it is a dual SIM card. SIM cards are, each carrier has its own SIM card that is programmed to access its network. Well, this has 2 SIM cards, one for Verizon and one for T-Mobile. And this router, which costs $950, we paid full price, no discount, no commissions, nothing like that. I'm not promoting it. We bought it back in July. And so I didn't say anything about it because I wanted to make sure we were really pleased with it. So what I like about this system is that it picks up whichever is the strongest cell signal, whether it is Verizon or T-Mobile. And it latches onto that, and if as you're driving, T-Mobile kind of gets weak and Verizon's stronger, it'll go over to that signal, and it really has helped. We have a massive data plan, 400 gigabytes that we have of data. In our most heavy usage, we've only used about 200 gigabytes, and we use it a lot. This podcast will be uploaded via that system. We do all of our live streaming, like our Ask Us Anything when we're on remote. We do that. You know how much live streaming takes in terms of data? We've never gone over 200 gigabytes, even when we're on the road full-time for like a month or so, never more than 200. Now, the 400 gigabytes that we have is divided 200 gigabytes for Verizon and 200 for T-Mobile. And so we've used about 100 for each service. That's how it's been working out for us over the past 8 months. So you buy the router. It's mine. I can do whatever I want with it, but I connect it to this internetonthego.net system, and that cost. My maximum data plan for that is $189 a month, and that's expensive. It's really expensive, but this program, I want to be really clear, it's not for everybody. It's for those who must have reliable internet. You ask us what we have, and so I'm trying to tell you that, but I'm not trying to tell you that you need to spend $189 a month or $950 on a router. That's what we chose for our work situation as we work remotely. But I think maybe the best way for us to really sort of explain this is have them meet Michael Kilborn. Michael is the guy who runs internetonthego.net. It's a unthrottled system, meaning that it doesn't ever slow down. I've had access speeds of probably the lowest I got is about 12 megabits per second. Highest I've had over 50. So it works great. In all cases we've streamed it from movies and all sorts of other things if we want, and it's just been a good system for us. So again, I have no financial interest in this company. I'm just a customer. You guys have asked, and we promised that one day we would tell you all about it. And I think after 8 months, it's enough that we can share that we've had a very good experience. So how does it work? Here's a short interview with Michael Kilborn from internetonthego.net. How does this Internet on the Go thing work? I have 2 SIM cards, count them 2, from 2 different networks.
Right.
Walk us through that process.
So the design of this was to make sure that the RV or the mobile or the nomad or somebody who's traveling has the ability to have internet throughout their travels. And what we do is we ride on 2 networks at the same time. So in your case, Mike, you'll have, say, Verizon and T-Mobile in there. So as you drive from A to B, no matter where you're going, it's constantly looking at both networks, seeing which one gives you a better signal and delivering you the better of the 2.
Now, how much data with these 2 SIM cards, this system, how much data can we use in a month?
It's 400 gigs a month total that you can use, and it's broken out by 200 gigs on one card and 200 on the other.
help people understand how much 400 gigs a month is.
So 400 gigs would be equated to, let's say, movies, because when you do video, maybe it's Netflix or YouTube, that's kind of the largest data consumer that we'll use. Surfing the internet or checking your bank balance or watching emails doesn't use a lot of data. So let's use Netflix as an example. On 400 gigs, you could watch effectively about 190 movies a month.
That's a lot.
So if you have to watch 190 movies a month and you have an RV, you need to get out more.
And in terms of antennas, it's got all these antennas.
It does.
It's like a porcupine.
So there's 6 antennas on the back of this router. And the 2 longer antennas, that's Wi-Fi. That's what allows all the items inside your RV, like your TVs and your computers and your laptops and your phones, to connect to it. That's Wi-Fi. The 4 smaller antennas, 2 of them would be for Verizon and 2 of them would be for T-Mobile. And those 2 antennas on either side are what connect to the network to bring the internet into your RV.
And do the wires have to be up or down? Does it make much of a difference?
What we tell folks is you don't want them to be crossed because it negates the ability of the antenna. So on the Wi-Fi antennas, they just push straight out on the back, and then we'll just fan out the 4 in a fan pattern, just so they're not touching each other, so they have the ability to work independently.
We have enjoyed this system because we could not be out on the road if we didn't have internet connection that we could count on to answer emails and to do all the different work that we have to do. And I want to say it again, we didn't get any discount. They're not giving us any money. This is just our life experience.
Yep. So we're happy campers with this system. I'll put a link in the show notes, and again, it's easy to remember. It's just internetonthego.net. And you can check it out yourself. Again, it's not for everybody. It's an expensive system. For us, it's what keeps us on the road and able to run our business from wherever we happen to be. All right. Now we're going to talk about the questions of the week when we come back.
Are you tired of overcrowded campgrounds, competing for reservations, paying high fees for sites? Well, ownership is an emerging trend in RVing that might be for you. Jennifer and I recently bought some property just west of Nashville from a great company in Tennessee that specializes in large acreage RV property. They're called Tennessee Land and Lakes. You can check them out at myrvland.com. The scenery and the setting is breathtaking, and you own it outright. It's not a timeshare. Your property, your way. You can garden, landscape, bring your pets, your friends. It's big acreage in a private setting. There's high-speed fiber optic internet connection along with utilities. A wonderful place to make your home base. No more calling around for reservations, and it's ready whenever you want to be there. Prices for big acreage start at only $79,900, plus you get us as your neighbors. There's financing available and some really friendly staff to work with. Visit myrvland.com. That is myrvland.com. You'll be glad you did.
Okay, now it's time for your RV questions, and I'll start out. I've got a question from Catherine. Dear Jennifer, my husband has watched all your videos twice. Once by himself and a second time with me as he tried to get me excited about the way he wants to spend our retirement. He wants to sell everything, get a Class A, and hit the road full time. I see the appeal of traveling in an RV, but am not so enthusiastic that I want to sell the house that we've lived in for 30 years. Any advice? I want to support him, but I don't want to jump into a full-time RV life until I know for sure. How can I not be a wet blanket? Is the RV life as great as you seem to say? Well,
Truth time. By the way, on our internet system here in the middle of the woods in Tennessee. Go ahead.
okay. I presume that you've done some RVing, that this isn't just a dream without you having any time and some sort of RV, driving around, exploring, seeing what it's like. And it's really hard when one person gets the vision and the other person doesn't want that. And like you said, it's our retirement, not just his retirement, but both of your retirement. So if you can afford it, I would suggest to keep your home. And I hope you have done some RVing. and I don't know what, but something, and try RVing maybe a month. Plan trips together. Try to get interested together in something that you both want to see.
Like antique hunting,
Well,
shopping,
I don't know what your
restaurant,
hobbies and interests are, but
photography.
try to figure out what you can both agree upon and do some trips that are kind of long, but get a feel for it. See if you like it. Because I wouldn't want to sell my house either and move full time into RVing if I wasn't sure that I was going to like it. But even if you do sell everything and go do it, of course, you've lived in your house for 30 years, probably time to downsize. You can always buy another house, but 30 years, I'm speaking for myself, my roots go deep. As soon as I make my house my nest, it's hard to give it up. Just ask Mike.
Now, she asked if the RV lifestyle is all that you hoped it would be. We are not full-timers, and we agreed right at the very beginning we would never be full-timers. We do like our home, and we have a sticks and bricks home, and we visit it. But we're on the road probably half to 3/4 of the time, although it's crazy times now, and I don't know how that's going to work out with all the weird things happening since COVID, but normally half to 3/4 of the time. So
we kept our home because I wouldn't give it up.
Yeah.
So I said, no, we have to keep our homes. So hopefully you can afford to keep your home and go, I don't know how you're going to Class A RV. I don't know if you have to sell your home to buy the Class A. If you're not that attached to your home, you can buy the Class A and then later, buy another home if it doesn't work. Smaller home.
Try and buy a cheaper RV or something like that.
Yeah. But it's give and take, as you know, in marriage.
Yes.
Give and take.
Yes, it is. Okay, so you
Rarely
like
are
it.
you both on the same page all the time. I mean, we heard a pastor say once that opposites attract, and then they attack. So
I have the scars to prove that. Well, but you have certainly enjoyed this lifestyle. We
yes,
wouldn't be
we've
doing
had
this.
fun.
Right.
I've seen places that I've always wanted to see, and we were on the road 3/4 of the time pre-COVID.
Yeah, and she told me though that if I wanted to go full time, I wouldn't have to get a big RV because it would just be me and Bo. And I'd rather.
I said, don't worry about it.
So we did keep our home, and we're glad we did.
Yes.
Okay, another question. This comes in from Marshall, and he says, "Dear Mike and Jen, first I want to say I love you guys. You were a tremendous help in educating us when we started to investigate the RV lifestyle options 3 years ago. Your experiences directed our ultimate choices for what my wife and I settled into when we started our full-time retirement life. We're in a 25.5-foot Class C motorhome built on the 2018 Mercedes Sprinter chassis. We've been full-timers now for 1 year." Here's a similar question to what you had. "But now my wife has recently informed me that she's willing to be nomadic for only 1 more year. We have a trip and a caravan and reservations set up until next March. But my question is this: once we resettle in the sticks and bricks home base, where we probably won't have a driveway garage to store the motorhome for weeks at a time, what are the best options for looking to store it? In an outdoor facility, is that problematic? Should it be indoor? Should all the batteries, house, and chassis be removed from the unit? I'm thinking we might be able to leave it in a different state, maybe fly back to use it for a few months of the year. Would that be too risky? Any idea on storage costs? Thanks for your outstanding ongoing educational information." Thank you, Marshall. Lots of questions. Let's talk about storage. When you say you're going to be gone, how long? A couple weeks you're going to keep it out of the thing? Maybe a month? Several months? If it's several months, you probably want to disconnect those batteries. You also probably want to find a way to trickle charge those batteries while they're out of, if it's for a long period of time. I don't know where you live. He didn't say, I don't think.
No, I've always said to Mike that wherever we live, we have to be able to have our RV next to us.
Yeah, we want, this is never unused for more than, I used to say more than 2 weeks, but I would say a week is the longest it ever just sits there. So we just keep it, when we're at our house in Michigan, we just keep it constantly plugged into we have a 30 amp supply outside in our driveway. You can't do that. So what about outdoor storage? Well, yes, you can store it outdoors. If you're in a cold climate, you're going to have to winterize your RV. you're going to want to go out and inspect it several times, a couple times a month at least. Make sure mice aren't getting into it, or there's not a leak or anything like that, or nobody's broken into it. If you store it indoors, which is an option, many times it's a heated place. They might even have it plugged in for you. Now the cost. I've done just checked on this recently. The cost for outdoor storage, at least in our area of Michigan, is about $85 to $90 for something under 35 feet a month. About $85 a month. That's an outdoor spot. It's in a fenced, secure lot. You can go in whenever you want, but that's it. You just park it there, and it's exposed to the elements. About $85 a month. Indoor spaces where it's heated, and climate controlled, where they'll do a concierge service and bring it to you, when you call them up. That can run several $100s a month.
Whew.
So storage for your RV, if it's going to be out of use for a long period of time, can be pretty costly. Storing it in, keeping it out of state. If you're in a cold climate, that would mean if you kept it down south, you wouldn't have to winterize it, which isn't so much a financial issue as it is just a convenience issue. For example, we winterized ours. We de-winterized it in late January when we came down, and then the last time we were here on February 12th, and we were going back up to Michigan where it's still cold, I re-winterized it, and then we just brought it down yesterday down here, and I de-winterized it again. I mean, it's very easy to do. It's not a hassle at all. So those are the things that you got to consider.
And leaving it in the south where the sun's beating down on it, that's not good for it either. I mean, this is a major investment.
Yeah.
You need to take good care of it.
Yep. So the issue is how long will it sit unused? And that's what you have to kind of work out, Marshall. So there you go. Hey, those are our questions. We would love to get questions from you. All you have to do is just email us, Mike and Jen at rvlifestyle.com. Mike and Jen at rvlifestyle.com. You can send us your question, or if you want to comment on anything we've discussed in this episode of the podcast, just send it right there, that address. You must certainly have noticed our spiffy new hats, right? Jen's got a nice pink hat. This is our new logo on our hats, and these are part of our spring collection, which we just announced. We've got some bright and cheerful spring RV merch, shirts with our slogan, Adventure Awaits. So we want to direct you to those. Get some spring merch, send them to us. We'd love to send. We'll put your pictures on the podcast as well. And you can find the link on the show notes or right here. It's on the website. Just look under shop, and you can't miss it on rvlifestyle.com. So that's all we got for you this week from our property in mid-Tennessee. And it's, I don't know if they can hear a jet right now, way up high, but it has just been so nice and quiet. The birds, the wind through the pines. We'll sleep well tonight, right?
We should.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you down the road.
Happy trails.